Hey, this video this week is going to be a bit different than normal. I'm not going to be sharing one of the Taste with Europe episode teasers or anything like that. Instead, I'm actually going to be focusing on my home country, which is America. And here in America, people are angry. Frankly, I'm angry. And that's because of this freaking senseless murder of George Floyd. And George Floyd, his murder is the causation of a system and a culture and an America that connects to American food and our cuisine more than we'd like to think. Like, his story includes the story of Philando Castile, Oscar Grant, Eric Gardner, Rodney King, Walter Scott, like countless other black people and minorities who have been just ravaged by our society. Our ancestors here in America just ripped families out of Africa in order to subject them to slavery here in America so that they can basically build our country and feed our people. And American food has been built upon the backs of black people and people who we label as minorities. They are the people who are working in the kitchens and in the fields in order to feed us. And sometimes I think we forget that. In fact, sometimes I even forget that. I'm a fourth generation American, okay? I am far removed from my ancestral immigration story. I'm half Chinese, and my ancestors, when they first came to America, they actually used food as a way to basically build a home for themselves here in America. They first started off in the rice fields, and when that didn't work out, they opened up their own food cart. And when that business failed, they opened up an American food restaurant right here in my hometown. They were actually the first ever Asian family in this all-white town back in the day, and they wanted to serve the local community. So they served steaks, pork chops, popovers, vegetables, things like that, you know, normal quote-unquote American food. And they experienced a lot of racism. Local barbers refused to cut my family's hair. The local judge tried to run them out of town. But my family, they just kept at it, and they kept serving the local community their American food. And once per week on Fridays, they would serve Americanized Chinese food like chop suey and chow mein. And the local community started to recognize that my family were good people, and although they were introducing them to foods that they weren't familiar with, like Chinese food, or at least Americanized Chinese food, they were a part of the community, and eventually they were able to make a life for my ancestors and for my family, and they've been able to give my parents and myself a great life. I mean, the reason why I'm able to make these films and to talk to you is because of my ancestors and what they built in their kitchens.
What was your favorite?
They're all good.
Yeah.
And so my family taught me, just like so many other stories that I've learned and filmed over the years, that the story of America's food is a story of minority America. Now, you might be saying to yourself, what the hell, Kevin? This is not what I expected. Just talk about food. And, you know, if you came here expecting like some kind of cupcake recipe or food vlogging, then you're going to be deeply disappointed with all of my films, all of my videos, because this is not your normal, YouTube cooking channel or Instagram food porn. You know, I did not create Taste in order for it to be just about the food. In fact, I would even argue that it's more about the people who make our food. And if that's something that you're not up for, that's totally cool with me. You're totally welcome to unsubscribe or unfollow. Will take no offense, but really, taste is all about food and the people who make it. You know, I filmed a lot of great chefs and cooks and food entrepreneurs over the many years. And most recently, I've actually served with AmeriCorps, which is basically the domestic branch of America's Peace Corps. With them, I filmed and documented the stories of at-risk youth who entered the Sprouts Cooking Club chef and training program.
My life before cooking, before even trying to better myself, was basically just a downward spiral to hell. Both my parents died due to alcohol, drugs, HIV, and I didn't have no hope. I was walking the streets, I was prostituting, I was selling drugs, I was doing it all. I had to fix my life, especially when I found out I was pregnant. And I don't want my baby to feel like how I felt.
Bobby grew up in East Oakland, and before he was 1 month old, his mom left him.
The people who are supposed to take care of me both left. At the continuation school, I got into this cooking class, and it was something I was finally good at, something that I was passionate at.
Time and again, I filmed with impressive young adults who showed me the power of cooking and working in the kitchen and just changing their own lives around. And then there is, of course, one of my personal favorite films that I made, the one with Thunder Zachary.
Honestly, the main challenge I'm dealing with is having one foot in the hood, having one foot on the legitimate side. Ended up in jail a couple times.
Thunder grew up in Bayview, Hunters Point, which is one of the last black neighborhoods of San Francisco. A city that both Thunder and I have seen gentrify and change over the years. And because this city demands so much wealth, it can often strain people and communities. At one point, Thunder resorted to robbery.
Hitting the lick. Hey yo, come up out your pockets. Hey, we finna shake the spot. Those were the type of words I was using back when I was robbing people.
I'll be real with you. I often think about and worry about Thunder. You know, he is a young black man in America. Like, it is a place that I can't even imagine. Just going out of my own home, I feel safe. That cannot be the case for a lot of people just like Thunder. And that's why I thought it was really important to help tell his story.
When I go to the point, I don't really concern myself with none of the gangster shit. It's just like, I'm just revisiting my roots. I'm saying what's up to everybody. Kicking back, GQing, feel me?
I mean, we're only as good as the stories that we tell ourselves. And I've always believed this, that film is one of the best ways to help tell stories. And so it was just freaking amazing to be able to help tell a story of a young black man who was able to change his life and just start a whole new path through food. Like, I live to tell those stories.
Tools of the trade that I'm learning to master.
In fact, I was recently talking to my friend Tayo, who is a fellow director, and she saw film as a way to change how we look at the world too.
I think of films as kind of like the flint, kind of like to spark the conversation, but we need the wood and the oil and everything to like keep the fire going to actually, you know, shine a light and things like that. So I think of filmmaking, I think of storytelling as kind of that really important spark to start the conversation. How does art heal a country? We're in a really powerful time of, you know, having communities and stories told. We just need to go even further to work together to find like those stories that will be that flint to start even more conversations and alliances and change.
Although we both love movies, I mean, my entire DVD collection is right behind me. I will have to say there's one genre of films that I'm not entirely in love with, and that's the superhero genre. Like, not only is it just sometimes just terrible storytelling, bad characters, not complex characters, but on top of that, it perpetuates this false myth that I think America has become addicted to. And it's the myth that there's this hero out there that's just going to come out and save us all. It's just not how the world works. There's not going to be some hero that solves our problems. There's not going to be some magic pill that makes us all skinny. There's not going to be a politician who saves us from all of the issues. We have to be our own superheroes. That's the only way things ever change, is through us. There are no superheroes. It's only us. And I mean, there's a reason why I actually called my film Dictionary of a Food Hero. It wasn't because of Chef Matthew Dolan, who is a great guy, and I actually think he is a hero in his own right. And it wasn't because of Thunder Zachary and what he did. I named my film Dictionary of a Food Hero because I wanted to show that anyone who helps develop themselves into a true cook or a true chef who utilizes the discipline and the skill and the terminology of the kitchen.
Phrases like
Mise en place.
mise en place, to have everything in place.
Is able to lift themselves up and bring themselves not only to culinary greatness, but also to just to a way of life that can really bring positive change to so many people. I mean, I've said this before in other videos, food nourishes us, and the people who make our food are those people who nourish us. And if they are the people who are, you know, able to develop that skill, develop that terminology, they are the food heroes. That's why I named my film Dictionary of a Food Hero. We are our own superheroes, and we need to start acting like that. I mean, as a formerly obese child who is on the verge of getting type 2 diabetes, I can literally feel it in my flesh and in my bones. The power of food and how it can transform a body, how it can transform a person, a society, a community, a nation, the world. I mean, even my history classes have taught me that revolutions have started because of food. Just look at the French Revolution or the Arab Spring. Those started because people couldn't even afford bread to eat. I just look at America. Our country is founded on the act of a small party dumping tea in the middle of Boston Harbor one night. If we want to start changing the world, if we want our problem solved, if we want that revolution, we're going to have to be our own superheroes. And I think one of the best places to start looking at how we can change this world is through our food. We can start seeing how we treat the people who make our food. We can see where our food comes from, who makes it, understand their stories. We can be those superheroes. We can be the people who starts understanding these things. And I think that that's why I'm here, and that's why I hope you're here. We can be those superheroes. Anyway, that's my little rant for this week. I know this video wasn't exactly the normal type of video that you have come to expect from me, but I just thought that this was pretty important to share, and I really appreciate you you following and subscribing and supporting. What I'm sharing might be a bit different, but I'm sure you've felt different before too. And that's what I'm doing this for. I'm doing this for the people who are thinking a bit differently about food and how they approach life. Because the people who make our food are often taking the unconventional route in life. And so I really appreciate your support, especially at this early stage of my YouTube channel and my posting on Instagram and all these other places. I really appreciate all the early support. In fact, if you enjoyed this video, I've actually found that the number one way that people find out about this small little passion project of mine is when friends share it with friends. So if you enjoyed this video or one of my other videos, I really appreciate it if you could share it with one of your friends, just one friend who would really resonate with this message or with these stories. It really does help quite a bit. And if you want to see my short film on Amazon Prime, then go check out Dictionary of a Food Hero. And if you want to see Tayo Amos's short film on Amazon Prime as well, go look at On the Clock. It is a beautiful, beautiful film about a brother and sister who are not having the most easiest time in America. And it's a film that I think a lot of people can relate with right now. And anyway, I just really appreciate you, and please leave a comment below on how you think you might want to make a change and be your own superhero. That might be a really hard question to answer in the comments. I know that was a question that took a long time for me to answer, but it would be a huge service for yourself if you were to write down, either in a notebook or on paper or down in the comments or wherever, write down how you want to make a change. Because when you write something down, when you put it out there, it makes a big difference, not only for people out there, but internally for yourself. And so, yeah, I just want to thank you for watching, and just stay safe out there, love one another, and thanks.